Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Something I'm passionate about is cruising. I love traveling. I've been all over the world. When you go on a tour, what happens is you spend all day traveling, then you get to your location and you spend your time sleeping. Then the next time you have to schlep your luggage, travel to the next place. When you're cruising, you unpack once, you know where you're sleeping, you know where you're eating, you know who's taking care of you in your cabin and in the restaurants, and it's just a relaxing way to travel. So it's something that I enjoy very much. So today I wanted to share the cruise cabin checklist, the procedures that I go through when I board a ship so that I make sure that I'm ready for my cruise to begin. So the first thing you want to do when you get to your cabin is take a picture of it, because it's never going to look that perfect again because you start spreading your stuff around. And sometimes when you get home, it's fun to look back at what your cabin looked like. Then I like to inspect my cabin and make sure that the locks work on, say, the door. Do you have a connecting cabin? Does the lock on that door work? And then you want to check out if you have a balcony or a veranda. You want to figure out how to open and shut your veranda doors. They can be tricky. They can be very hard to open simply because they're heavy. And if you're traveling with children, you want to make sure that you know how to ensure that your veranda or your balcony door is locked so that children can't get out onto there unsupervised. Cruise cabins generally include a safe. Most of the time you'll enter a 4-digit code so that you can access the safe on your own. But the first thing I always do is make sure that I test fire it. So I'll put in a code, see if it locks, see if it unlocks before I put in my valuables, because I want to make sure I don't put them in and then find out that I made a mistake and it wasn't working properly. You also want to make sure that you remember what that number is, and always make sure that you check the safe when you're leaving your cabin at the end of your cruise, that you check to make sure you didn't leave any of your valuables behind. Even though I know the cabin stewards do a fabulous job of keeping the staterooms and the cabins perfectly clean, I always like to bring along some disinfectant wipes, especially in these days of COVID and norovirus and things like that. And I will wipe down all of the surfaces again, as paying special attention to things like the doorknobs, the light switches, the remote control, and any of the knobs or anything that you would be touching frequently, including anything in the bathroom surfaces. It's just an extra layer of protection for myself. At the end of the day, I'm the one who's responsible for my health. And I've been on cruises in the last few years where there was norovirus, there were COVID outbreaks. Luckily, I never caught anything, but one of the reasons I think that's true is because I make extra sure that I pay attention to sanitation and cleanliness. And then always make sure when you're going in and out of the dining rooms where they have hand sanitizer, please use it. Then as you're getting settled in for your cruise, it's a great time to get to meet your cabin attendant. Let them know who you are, how you would like your bed set up. Do you need extra hangers? Are there robes and maybe slippers provided? I'm finding that robes and slippers are not always available anymore, which is a huge disappointment. I guess I've cruised so many times for so many years that I came to expect those kind of luxury items to always be included, and it's turning out that they're not anymore. And even when you request them, I found the last few times I've requested slippers, I was just told no. So if it's something that you're used to having and it isn't available anymore, perhaps you want to make sure when you're packing that you bring a little pair of slides with you so that you have them if it's something that's a comfort item that you don't want to walk around barefoot in your cabin or your stateroom. You also want to find out what kind of room service is included that's free, that there's not a charge for it. A lot of times the continental breakfast is still always included, but on some cruise lines that I've been on recently, there are a few items that are included in room service, and some ships, all of the room service is a price that you have to pay an additional fee. So you want to make sure that you check and find out what's included and what's not, if that's something that you enjoy. I love getting the little continental breakfast delivered in the morning. That's my little wake-up call. And then I'll have my cup of tea, some fresh fruit, maybe a pastry, and it's a great relaxing way to remember that you're on vacation. When you're inspecting your cabin, you also want to make sure that you know where your life jackets are and that you participate in the muster drill. Sometimes you have to go to a common area for a briefing. Sometimes they'll want you to do it on the television in your room. So make sure that you understand how it works. In the olden days, everybody had to wait, bring their life jacket, come to the muster location, and you had to stand there while they checked you off on the sail away part of your journey. So that's a lot less trouble that you don't have to do that anymore. But it's still very important that you understand how to evacuate and what are the procedures in case there's an emergency while you're on your cruise. Then once you've inspected your cabin, it's a great time to go take a walk around, get familiar with your ship, probably visit the buffet and have some treats, and then prepare for the sail away. Once your luggage arrives at your cabin, you can unpack and your vacation is underway. Then the only thing you need to worry about is, how am I going to decide which activities to participate in? How am I going to manage to fill in all that time on the sea days, which you really won't end up having any problems. I love sea days. Then make sure that you also pay attention to ship's time, so that if you dock in a place that's on a different time zone and you were supposed to change your time, you still want to pay attention to the ship's time rather than the location's time, because when the ship is ready to sail, it's ready to sail, and they've given you ample warning about what time that is, so make sure that you are there with plenty of time to spare. Now, understand that when you first arrive on your cruise, that your luggage doesn't come immediately with you to your cabin, but your carry-on does. So it might take a few hours to receive your big bags of luggage. So in my carry-on, I always bring a change of clothes, some basic toiletries, a swimsuit. I also always include pajamas just in case I want to go to bed before the luggage arrives. And that's never been a problem before, but if you have the things you need, then you don't have to worry. And so you're preparing to enjoy your vacation just as much as when we're at home and we're prepping to keep our life running smoothly. That's what we want to do when we go on vacation as well. It's a little bit different tasks that we need to do, but it's still important to prepare to enjoy and make the best of every single day that you have. Let us know in the comments, where have you cruised? What are your favorite cruise lines? And do you have some cruises planned in the future that are something wonderful to look forward to, rather than the gloom and doom that we hear on the news? Sometimes planning our next vacation can really cheer us up and have us look forward to what's coming next in life. I hope you'll like my video, share it with someone else you think might enjoy it, and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.